The next speaker is Ms. Julie Garbus, and also a community member.
I hate to fall on my So, my name's Julie Garbus. I have a 6th grader, just finishing up. He'll be a 7th grader. And when he started in kindergarten, I was impressed. I thought, you went to Meeker, I thought this school is great. And I started being on every committee. I did the PTO, I did DAC, I did SAC, I did Gifted and Talented Committee when he got into that. And I have always been impressed by this district, by the commitment of the teachers and the administrators, by how people do what they need to do without very much funding. Then when I got on DAC, I learned how low our funding was, how low Colorado was, how low we were, that we are 169 out of 178, and I was shocked because I know that we're a high needs district, and to educate poor kids and kids who aren't white and kids who speak a second language takes more funding, which we don't have. So I was shocked, I was horrified, and I was so happy to be on the mill levy committee. The committee itself was great. A couple of reasons. Different stakeholders, teachers, school administrators, district administrators, parents, people who just graduated from District 6, 4 or 5 years ago, different races, all sorts of things. We learned a lot. The people who presented, who were heads of their, what would you call it? Head of transportation, John Gates, great information. We were given tasks to do that were well-defined. Everybody worked hard. It was respectful. We prioritized the needs. Great committee, and we all know it's hard to have a great committee. It was an enjoyable experience. I strongly think we need to pass an MLO. And 4 different reasons, and then I will shut up. So I don't like to rattle on. It's a low cost to voters. I forget exactly how much it comes out to per year, but it's not a ton. Thanks to Dr. Pilch, the community is much more enthusiastic about the schools. And there's been good stuff in the Tribune about us. So I think that is really changing for the better. We have a lot of people who went through the last mill levy experience, which sounded somewhat unfortunate, and I think people have learned their lessons. The main one seems to be that we need to be very clear, very transparent about where the money's going to go. And people want communication. And one more reason, I think this election is going to bring people out. I think there's a lot of people who are going to come out who are concerned about education and believe that, how do I put this? I'm about to get all political. Believe that one thing that we can do is spend money for the future of our kids. That's a good thing. I think those people will come to the polls. And so I think we're going to have a good turnout. And that is all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And the next speaker is Daryl Sundin, also a Greeley Evans resident. Daryl?
Sure.
We're going to double check where Daryl is.
She was here.
All right. Well, next meeting, she's welcome to attend. Thank you very much for participating in that activity. It's good to hear from our community. The next item is the work session report. Ms. Brea?
Board of Education President Roger DeWitt began the work session with open comments from board members and a review of the board calendar and upcoming events. Superintendent Dr. Deirdre Pilch, Director of Human Resources Annette Overton, and Director of Exceptional Student Services Tom Gribble facilitated the discussion of the Citizens Advisory Committee consideration and review. There was discussion of district issues and board member views about a proposed mill levy override and, in relation to Innovation 2020, the greatest needs in the district. They also discussed their greatest fears and best hopes about possibly moving forward with a mill levy override. Early College Academy Principal Gordon Boschman, Ames Associate Dean Libby Klingsmith, and Chief Academic Officer Dr. Stacy Dattery presented an update on Early College Academy. Mr. Boschman discussed the school culture, goals and measures, and next steps. A more detailed update will be presented later this evening. Superintendent Dr. Deirdre Pilch and Chief Academic Officer Dr. Stacy Dattery reviewed the revisions to Policy IKF, Graduation Requirements, which will be presented later in this meeting. That concluded the work session.
Thank you very much. It's time for the superintendent's report. Dr. Pilch, please.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. So I want to start with first a little shout out to our retirees. We had a retirement reception last week and honored about 30 of our retirees. And thank you to the board members who were able to be there and be a part of that celebration, and to the staff who helped to pull that off. It was really a nice honor for our folks who have given so much time and so much work to District 6. So congratulations and thank you to our retirees. Graduations start tomorrow with Jefferson High School's graduates, and they go almost every day through Saturday until we conclude our graduations. And this is what our work is all about creating high school graduates who are ready for their future. And I am really proud of the work that we're doing in this area. I've talked about the Greeley-Evans graduation initiative, and we're committed to ensuring that every student graduates high school, college, and career ready, as our district goal states. Our student learning and achievement goal states, students will engage in a challenging, well-rounded education, preparing every student to be college and career ready with the skills needed to be successful in the community and the world. And that's what we're doing for kids in District 6. And I'm really proud of that work that's going on. There's some other things that, as I reflect on this school year, that I'm especially proud of as we wrap up this first school year here for me. We adopted in the fall a new district mission, vision, and values and goals, Innovation 2020, and we're developing action plans and a full strategic plan to support those goals, and I'm proud of that work. It means that we're deeply committed to what we're going to do here in the district, and we're promising that this is the work we're going to do, and that all of our staff will come with us as we do this work for our students. In addition, I want to talk about a couple of other things I'm especially proud of from this year. We trained and implemented the consensus negotiations process, and tonight our Greeley Education Association President Pat Otto will come forward, and she'll share the ratified vote on the master contract proposal that we came to agreement on. And I think that's a huge success for District 6, that not only did we train and begin to redo our negotiations in a new way, we used that process to resolve an issue that would have cost the district literally probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in a lawsuit. And we resolved that issue, and that lawsuit went away. And I'm really proud of that work, and I'm excited that we'll have a ratification vote to share with you tonight. We've also begun to move McAuliffe Elementary School to McAuliffe K-8 STEM Academy, and this is pretty exciting. The community likes this idea, the school community likes this idea, and I think it's providing more personalized, more science, technology, engineering, and mathematics available to our elementary students. And also at Billy Martinez, they will begin to implement project-based STEM Academy here at Billy Martinez Elementary, just a few blocks from our district office here. So we're excited about that work. We opened Early College Academy, and you'll hear a report tonight on Early College Academy. A little bit of an update. Very successful first year for Early College Academy. And then I think finally I want to mention our blended learning initiative that we were able to continue to expand this year. In spite of our limited resources, we've expanded that initiative. And what that means is that in many of our elementary classrooms, we are able to have online instructional materials augment, support the instruction of the classroom teacher. And as a result, our students in elementary mathematics who are in this model of a classroom are excelling beyond what we've ever seen in our elementary students in mathematics. And this is very exciting for District 6. So our teachers who have been willing to implement the blended learning in their classrooms, they're the true pioneers. I mean, they took the risks. They got out there with their courage, and boy, they're making it happen for our classrooms, in those classrooms at the elementary level. So just a few things I wanted to mention as we kind of close out this school year, my first school year in District 6. So thank you, Mr. DeWitt.
Well, thank you. I would like to point out, due to the efforts of the administration, that retiree soiree was at the Greeley Country Club, which is a pretty dandy place to sit around and have a cup of tea. So we do thank our retirees and wish them well, and we certainly look forward to an entirely new set of challenges this next year. But thank you, Dr. Pilch.
You know, it's some of my new friends here in District 6 who made that possible for us to have that at the country club. I myself do not have a Greeley Country Club membership, but some of my new friends in District 6 do have. And so they made that available to us and actually planned the whole party. They planned the food and ordered it and the whole bit. So thanks to those folks who are supporting us.
Super. Thank you. The next item is the approval of the agenda, and a little bird told me that we might be looking to amend the agenda to postpone item I, administration, item number 1, revisions to, is it IKF? IKF. So that would require a motion at this time?
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 remove or withdraw the revisions to policy IKF, the graduation requirements, and from the agenda and postpone action on them until the next board meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. It was discussed at our work session that we just had a little more elbow grease to put on this particular item. Other comments someone like to present on the board? Mr. Lydiac, are you there in France?
I am here and present, so.
Any comments on this?
Nope.
All right, I can't see your face, so I want to make sure I'm including you, sir. This is above and beyond the call of duty, yes? All right, sir, thank you. It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, Ms. Brea?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiac?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
Thank you very much. So continuing, the approval of the agenda, that will require a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve the agenda as revised.
Second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call, Ms. Brea?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiac?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. The next item is special items, the 2016-17 District 6 Certified Staff Master Contract Agreement.
Roger, consent agenda.
I'm sorry?
Consent agenda.
Oh, I've skipped an entire page. Pat, sit back down. I apologize. I missed a little mark. Good things people know what's going on here when I don't. How about the approval of the consent agenda? I bet that's going to gain some support. That would require a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve items as presented on the consent agenda and authorize the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions, comments, other suggestions to the president to keep track of things? All right. Roll call, Ms. Brea?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiac?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
Great. Now, special item, 2016-17 District 6 Certified Staff Master Contract Agreement. Dr. Pilch, this is an action item, so I'm going to access a motion and then turn it over to you.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve the 2016-17 District 6 Certified Staff Master Contract Agreement.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Dr. Pilch?
Well, I referenced this already in my opening comments, but I I am ecstatic to bring this forward this early in the year. It is my understanding that it has been years since we've actually had a tentative agreement and concluded negotiations by the required end of May deadline. And so we did our work. Many of you, well, all of you worked very hard to make this happen, and most of our board was with us the full last 12-hour day of negotiations, and we're excited to bring this for you tonight for your consideration. Ms. Otto?
So, Mr. DeWitt, Dr. Pilch, members of the board, thank you for allowing me to come back up again. The first thing I wanted to let you know that this whole new way of doing business, and people are like, why do you keep saying that? It's like, because it's true. I know you keep hearing it from Dr. Pilch, and I want you to keep hearing it from me that the consensus model works. We've been able to take care of so many things earlier on and not wait till late March and April to start the whole process. At the ratification meeting when you were all present, the membership really welcomes this change in this new process, and that the presence of the whole team, that has never been done to my knowledge in the history of negotiations in Greeley-Evans School District, that we all stood before the membership. They were very impressed that everybody from administration to all of you as school board members took the time to come and share your thoughts with them. So thank you for taking that time. I know everybody has busy schedules, but the membership was very excited to see this new process and that everybody's face was there that night. After our joint meeting, the membership was presented with the tentative agreement. We talked about it. They asked a lot of hard questions, and we talked through everything that you have presented before you. Voting began after that meeting and concluded the following Monday, and I am pleased to announce that the membership has ratified the tentative agreement overwhelmingly, and that we hope you will consider this as you vote on the master contract for the 2016-17 school year. Questions?
I think a collective breath has been taken. Ms. Solis.
I just wanted to thank Pat for even inviting us. That was a huge difference, and we weren't quite sure what to expect, but we were very appreciative of the invitation. But once we were there, you could tell that everyone was really grateful that we were even part of the process, and it was good for us board members too, so thank you.
Other comments from board members? Dr. Richard? Just body reading.
Well then. I just wanted to speak a bit to the process, that the vote on this issue is always such a difficult one as a board member, because we know that it's not a perfect match between what the state gives us and what we would like to spend on our students, our teachers, and all that makes District 6 work. And so being a part of that 12-hour meeting, and I've got to admit that was a first for me to actually go 12 continuous hours in one single meeting. But to hear the discussions, to hear the conversation, to hear real communication and problem solving, that was really powerful, and we've come to a good agreement. You know, it's agreement that's a tough agreement, because while we're able to provide health insurance at the same level and retirement and hit that mark on the salary schedule, we know that there are things that have gone by the wayside to be able to manage that. But it really is an investment in our employees, and in fact, you're right, Brian, in all of our employees, and that's a big statement there. The other offshoot from this that I'm looking forward to is when we stand here next year and we're looking at that new salary schedule, a way to move forward that allows us to not be in the pinch that we've been in the past, something that is sustainable. So it's an exciting time this year, and it's an exciting time for next year as well. So thank you for all of your efforts.
Thank you.
Mr. Hall.
Pat, I just want to say thank you for your work with Dr. Pilch and your leadership in this process of the consensus negotiations, of what we've done to get to this agreement. And I think that it's worthy of note that This year, just for people that don't know, this is a 3.75, and it's for all of our staff. It's not just teachers, it's our classified, our all across the board. So a couple things that are worthy of pointing out, it's a 3.75, of which the state gave us 1.9. And we are not dipping into reserves. And that's thanks to you working with Dr. Pilch and her leadership and reduction in overhead, because this board was dedicated not to go into reserves again. We just couldn't. One final thing I wanted to touch on what Julia mentioned is the new salary structure or salary schedule or whatever it's going to be called at the time for next year. That compensation committee has begun meetings already. And they are working, it's a joint effort, you and Dr. Pilch and administration and people across our district, because this is over 10 years old, and our conditions, our situation has changed in funding and in the state of Colorado. And I look forward greatly to seeing because it's not going to be easy, we know that. We know that. Yep. And, but both sides are committed to bringing something to the table that is sustainable for all involved, because we have a fiduciary responsibility to those we serve and to those employees of the district as well. And we'll find a win-win deal, I'm sure, a win-win situation that's a sustainable one going forward for everyone involved. So thanks, Pat.
Well, I want to thank the board for supporting that, because we have been asking for that for a long time. So we welcome that with open arms to be able to actually sit down and start doing that work. So thank you for supporting us, both the district administration, the association, so that we can do that work.
Well, I do have a quick, I don't know how quick, a quick comment to make about a kind of a leap of faith on the part of the association and our new superintendent and the board subsequent to that, the team getting together and discussing this. And our new superintendent had every reason to kind of sit back and watch us continue to do a dysfunctional interaction and come up with another horns hooked kind of adventure for negotiations. And I believe it was the president of your board who suggested you just stay out of it for now until you feel like you've gotten yourself comfortable in the community, and then we can work toward a better relationship, and you refused my advice. And for that, I certainly have to thank you, but also thank you, Pat, and your association members and the other teachers, because it's made all the difference. This needed to happen, and it needed to happen under faith, and you found a way to do it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, it's been moved and seconded on this particular item. Further discussion? Roll call, Ms. Brad?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
I give an aye and a woohoo.
And the motion carries 6-0.
I just say thank you very much.